So clearly was a foul, was not called. And then Cunningham gets into the face of DiJonai Carrington.
Punch in your face. Okay? It's enough. Like, I don't usually do stuff like this, but just stop it, bro.
3 players, 4 days, every single one hit in the face. At this point, this isn't just a basketball story anymore. It's a public safety warning. DiJonai Carrington clotheslined Sophie Cunningham on a breakaway on August 8, leaving her with a bloodied lip. Carrington received a flagrant 2 and was ejected, then posted white privilege from the locker room before appearing at a Monday press conference and insisting the foul was never intentional. And then Carrington did it again, twice. 3 players hit in the face in 4 days. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most physically dominant players in NBA history, knows better than almost anyone what dangerous play looks like. When someone with that level of experience starts looking at a sequence like this, the question stops being whether each incident can be explained away individually and becomes whether the league is dealing with a pattern that demands real accountability.
Here's the thing. Why is DiJonai Carrington even in this game? This all could have been avoided if the league suspended her, as they should have, for the flagrant 2 foul against Sophie Cunningham. But no, that never happened. Also, the league never did anything about the posting on social media after she was ejected. That's against WNBA policy.
The man who called Caitlin Clark the Real Deal and acknowledged that opponents try to beat her up is watching all of this through the same lens as countless Clark fans across the country. And Sophie Cunningham has also made her position clear on the debate over transgender participation in women's sport, arguing that biological males should not compete against biological females. Her comments became part of a much larger controversy, and the hard foul involving Carrington only intensified the attention surrounding Cunningham and the broader debate. But whether the foul was connected to Cunningham's comments is a separate question, and there isn't enough evidence to establish that connection as fact.
DiJonai Carrington is looking around the room like, oh my God, I've never been in this much fire. I mean, it's getting so bad that now her endorsements are potentially about to pull out on representing DiJonai Carrington.
This just goes to show that DiJonai has no self-awareness in what's going on. DiJonai Carrington runs on threads immediately. White privilege at Indiana Fever. White privilege. You running around with blonde hair. It looked like you trying to be white. It looked like you trying to be a white girl. What are you talking about white privilege? The white girl just got a technical foul for something she didn't even do. What are you talking about white privilege, bro? This is why she should be banned from the league. They always run.
It states here, Reebok is reportedly dropping their endorsement for DiJonai Carrington after she attacked Sophie Cunningham. Let's go.
And then, just 4 days later, the same player was involved in 2 more incidents where opponents were hit in the face during the same game, without either play resulting in an ejection. That sequence has intensified the debate over physicality, player safety, and accountability across the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham has been outspoken about her views on protecting women in sport, but the claim that these incidents prove her position, or that Carrington's actions were connected to Cunningham's comments, goes beyond what the available evidence can establish. What the sequence does show is why fans are demanding clearer standards for dangerous contact and consistent enforcement when players repeatedly make contact around an opponent's head or face.
Tried to tell y'all, I tried. This girl is not going to stop until she takes somebody out the league. This girl will not stop until she ends somebody's career. DiJonai Carrington, once again, with another dirty foul in less than a week, in just a couple of days apart from each other. A couple of days apart from the Sophie Cunningham hard foul. You have Mrs. Eye Poke, Mrs. Flagrant foul. I'm going to grab your head. I'm going to hit your head upside your head, knock you out the air. Mrs. I'm going to pull your hair.
Over the weekend, Carrington found herself at the center of controversy after delivering a hard foul on Sophie Cunningham. DiJonai Carrington was assessed a flagrant 2 and ejected from the game following the play. The aftermath sparked plenty of discussion and controversy, but instead of allowing the moment to fade away, Carrington's actions afterward kept the story alive. What began as a hard foul quickly became a much larger conversation about physicality, social media, and accountability, ensuring that the incident remained in the spotlight long after the final whistle.
I mean, look, it was a hard foul. I don't think that DiJonai intentionally came out to get her across the neck like she did. But it did happen, and I thought it was the right call. But, you know, one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the neck.
Cunningham was left with a bloodied lip after the collision. She crashed to the floor and couldn't break her fall, then quickly got back up, confronted Carrington directly, and was caught on a fan camera saying 7 words. "Why the FK did you do that?" Cunningham later said she believed the foul was intentional and suggested Carrington may have been looking for attention. Her reaction added another layer to an already heated moment, turning what had started as a hard basketball play into a much bigger conversation about intent, physicality, and what happened after the whistle.
In the throat, that could kill her. Right? And the WNBA, right? The people that run that league, if you're DiJonai here and you have a foul like that, I don't want to hear about, okay, that's a flagrant 2 and you get this sort of fine. She should be suspended for the rest of the season.
And Carrington went to a Monday press conference and insisted the foul was never intentional, while her coach described it as a basketball play. The WNBA, meanwhile, remained silent regarding any additional discipline, which meant Carrington was cleared to play Monday night for the Chicago Sky against the Seattle Storm. No further suspension, no public announcement, no additional punishment, just play on. For critics, that silence only added fuel to the growing debate over whether the league was taking the incident seriously enough, especially after Cunningham's reaction and Carrington's own explanation had already pushed the story far beyond the court.
I am so fucking sick of the Indiana Fever and Sophie Cunningham. I really, really mean it. And I really have been trying to just keep my mouth shut because the rabid-ass, racist-ass fan base makes it insufferable to actually talk about basketball with people, one, who know the game, who used to play the game, and understand sometimes things just happen in the game. DiJonai got ejected in the first quarter in the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever. Sophie Cunningham went up for a layup. DiJonai went to block it, right? Flying in the air. When she went to smack, she missed the ball, hit Sophie's head. I have not played basketball since junior high. That happened to me before. But where I'm at now with it is, one, everything Sophie Cunningham does in the game is for social media. Everything she does in that game is for social media's response, no matter what. Why? Because she's a mid-ass player in the fucking league. And yes, I am a person who has not played basketball since junior high, but I can say she is a mid player in the league. Look at her stats, who understands that where her opportunity is being a social media meme, clip, soundbite. And she will do that by any means, because at this point, that's making her off-court money. What irritates me is, one, DiJonai getting the flagrant 2. I don't think that it should have been a flagrant 2 because the intent to hurt, I don't think that there was an intent to hurt. When you go up to block the ball, especially in a layup, sometimes that shit happens. However, what I'm going to talk about is the aftermath. Sophie getting up and getting in DiJonai's face, and you physically see DiJonai say, stop, stop, stop. With the public, the people who support Sophie Cunningham and the Fever, resulting in such blatant racism, in such social media attacks on any team, any player that is opposing the Fever, Sophie, Caitlin Clark, and especially being Black, it results in such racism. Not only now are the players like, hey, I know if I'm going up against the Fever, and especially Sophie, Caitlin, I will take Lexi Hull out of this. Last season, we was getting close, Lexi. We was getting really close. I'll take her out of this equation now. But especially those two, the Black players understand that if anything happens, even though it may be things that happen during the game, shit that is so normal to happen during the game, they know that they have racist attacks waiting on them online, or hell, even in
during Chicago's 91-71 loss to the Golden State Valkyries on Wednesday, Carrington was guarding Cecilia Zandalicini on the perimeter and, while swiping at the ball, caught the Golden State forward in the eye. The hand movement from Carrington on the play immediately drew attention. While she was clearly using her right hand to attack the ball, her left hand was positioned in a way that made it difficult to explain how it could have reached the ball without passing directly through Zandalicini's face. The sequence quickly became another talking point for fans already questioning Carrington's recent pattern of contact around opponents' heads and faces.
Rose that Stephanie is stuck in is she knows DiJonai is a good person, but now she's coaching people who are likely taking money from the Heritage Foundation, has a large MAGA racist fan base, and they didn't like that she defended DiJonai.
Take personally, any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back.
Men should not play sports against women. I'm not going to get into all the bullshit that's going on out here in the world today. If anybody think that, I think they're stupid. I'm not.
Physically impossible to reach the ball unless it went through her face. That was the analysis from Outkick, a sports media outlet that closely followed the controversy. The incident also drew comparisons to Carrington's 2024 playoff collision with Caitlin Clark, when Carrington's hand made contact with Clark's eye. That earlier incident became a major flashpoint between Carrington and Fever fans, and the latest play has reignited those comparisons. While the footage alone cannot establish that either contact was intentional, the visual similarity has given critics another reason to question Carrington's defensive technique and the growing pattern of contact around opponents' faces.
Go on to defend her, the story, the narrative that she's not a dirty player. She makes plays like this all the time. I put together a little clip of DJ Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA. I don't know if we can roll it, but she's taken her long fingernails. She's scratched Caitlin Clark's eyes out. She's had multiple instances of chasing people down from behind, trying the same swat and smashing them in the head and causing mini fights. She pulled another girl's hair. I don't know if we'll get to that clip in a second when she's falling. Totally dirty play. This is not a skin color thing. She has a history of making dirty plays, and it's fine. The NBA, you can.
Same move, different year, different player, same result, and no flagrant. Then later in the same game, Carrington caught Golden State guard Tiffany Hayes in the face with an errant hand while Hayes was going up for a layup. That immediately added another layer to the growing conversation around Carrington's recent physical play. Hayes also addressed the Sophie Cunningham incident on social media after experiencing contact herself, adding her voice to a controversy that had already moved well beyond one isolated foul. With multiple players now involved in similar face area incidents, fans are increasingly asking whether these are simply unfortunate basketball plays or part of a pattern that deserves closer attention.
This isn't, as you said, Tommy, a whoops. This is intentional. This was targeting Sophie Cunningham, and I don't care if the player's white or black. It does not matter. When you do this to somebody, this is horrible for the league. Obviously, this was done because Sophie Cunningham stood up for women, saying that men shouldn't play against women in sports because there is obviously a chromosome advantage, just like you see with steroids, a chemical advantage.
The Valkyries veteran made the layup despite the contact, but immediately went down afterward. Fortunately, she wasn't injured, and officials reviewed the play to determine whether Carrington's contact warranted a flagrant foul. After the review, the referees ruled it a common foul. That left two above-the-neck incidents involving Carrington in the same game, with neither resulting in a flagrant, while Carrington also picked up a technical foul for arguing with a referee. And as the controversy continued to spread, the WNBA still had not announced any additional discipline related to the incidents, leaving fans with even more questions about how the league intended to handle the situation.
White, I've been a defender, the coach of the Fever. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. Fire her ass today. I don't want her back on that bench. Stop defending the other players. Oh, she plays hard, DJ. That's just her being her. You see Caitlin in the press conference almost cover her ears and her eyes. Defend your players. First of all, you're wrong. It was a dirty play and she's gone. But when do you ever see in like the NBA, a coach not defend their own players? She hasn't done it with Caitlin when Caitlin got punched.
At one point in the fourth quarter, Carrington complained to one of the game's referees about a Valkyries fan sitting courtside. The fan was removed from the area, but was eventually allowed to return after the complaint was determined to be unfounded. According to a Valkyries team official, there was no basis for the complaint. The incident added another layer to an already chaotic night for Carrington, who had already been involved in multiple physical plays, picked up a technical foul, and found herself under intense scrutiny from fans and media throughout the game.
I'm never going to think it's all right for men to play sports against women. And I don't even think that's controversial. That's the thing that's funny. Like some of this stuff make, like when you see these debates on television, like, yeah, men shouldn't play sports against women. I'm done. I don't want to hear you try to explain it to me. No, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to argue with you. Men shouldn't play sports against women. I'm done. There's a lot of we can argue over. That ain't
you women out there. Y'all petty, man.
Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark.
Shaquille O'Neal has built much of his post-playing legacy around calling things as he sees them. He called Caitlin Clark the Real deal after admitting he initially doubted her, and he has acknowledged that opponents sometimes try to rough her up. He also signed Angel Reese to Reebok and has spoken about protecting the athletes he represents. That makes the standard Shaq applies especially relevant here. Compete hard, compete physically, but stay within the rules. Critics argue Carrington has repeatedly crossed that line, pointing to a multi-year sequence of face area contact involving multiple opponents and several teams. Whether those incidents were intentional or not, the growing pattern has raised legitimate questions about player safety, defensive discipline, and whether stronger accountability is needed.
Today, did you, when you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am. So yeah.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing about it.
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her, so I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened.
With the increase, Carrington became widely criticized after the 2024 playoff incident in which her hand made contact with Caitlin Clark's eye during a game between Clark's Indiana Fever and Carrington's Connecticut Sunday. Footage showed Carrington reacting with a smile alongside teammate Marina Mabrey after the play, which fueled backlash from Fever fans who believed she was making light of the incident. Carrington later became involved in separate political controversies away from the court, including comments about an encounter with an Uber driver and public statements concerning policies of the Trump administration. Those moments have added another layer to the public perception surrounding Carrington, even though they are separate from the basketball incidents themselves.
White privilege comment. I would actually say that this is black privilege, to be totally honest with you, because her posting this white racist comment right after assaulting Sophie Cunningham on the court is actually black privilege, because she knows the WNBA won't do a single thing of significance about it. And imagine if the roles were reversed. If Sophie made a comment similar to this, then she'd likely never play.
And then Carrington clotheslined Cunningham on a breakaway and posted white privilege from the locker room. 4 days later, she was involved in another incident where her hand made contact with Zandalicini's eye, followed by another play in which Tiffany Hayes was hit in the face during a layup attempt. She also complained about a courtside fan, who was later allowed to return after a team official said the complaint was unfounded. Suddenly, Carrington had been involved in 3 face area incidents involving 3 different players within 4 days, including a flagrant 2 against Cunningham and additional contact against the Golden State Valkyries. And as the controversy continued to grow, the WNBA had still not announced additional discipline, leaving fans questioning whether the league would take further action.
Women are 51% of the population. We need to start acting like it. Boycott the WNBA. They don't know what a woman is. They don't know how to protect women in girls' sports in the WNBA. The W, that stands for woman, not trans, that starts with a T. Woman. Y'all don't know what that is? Boycott them. Our girls deserve fairness in their sports and in the locker room. And I'm just having it really up to here with the WNBA and their cowardice. And every fucking WNBA player that says, oh, I don't mind a trans on a team with me, you're fucking lying. You haven't had it. You haven't experienced having a male in the locker room with you. I have. It is fucking demeaning. It crosses our boundaries. It disregards our privacy and what we actually want as women. Fuck the WNBA and any other sports league that allows men to play with women. Boycott them.
That should have been 2 flagrant fouls and an ejection for DiJonai Carrington, one fan responded. If the league doesn't step in here, the players will start policing themselves, and then you have chaos, said another. Those reactions captured the growing frustration among fans who believe repeated contact around the head and face needs to be addressed before it escalates into something more serious. For critics, the issue is no longer one isolated foul, but whether the league is enforcing its standards consistently enough to prevent players from taking matters into their own hands.